Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I I'm so confused right now. I'm not even sure where to begin. But I will say that the night before last, when the ETs came, my protectors, and the bed thumper, as far as I know, did not come out. I don't even know when my protectors left. I don't know what happened because I fell asleep. Yesterday, I kind of felt like I was in the clear, meaning the bed thumper is gone or temporarily gone. I'm not sure which. The closer it got tonight, bedtime, I should say, I started getting the feeling that my protectors would not be back. And the bed thumper, of course, wouldn't show. I get ready for bed, and I already had in my head that I need to start meditating more. I feel like I need to get in touch with that side of me once again in reality for this length of time, meaning, gosh, I don't know how long. Deep down, I've been angered. I don't know why. But I need to let it go. I'm working on it. And I thought I need to meditate some more. So what I used to do when I meditated, because I have the ability to do this, but I first need to brag a little bit. I meditated for an hour. That's the longest. Or maybe not. I think I've done that a couple of times. I cannot remember. I apologize. But I have this ability, and I've talked about it before, but I have a few new people. I have this ability while I'm meditating, I will ask if there's any entities that need healing, or I will just grab a couple. And what happens is they come to me with their arms stretched out and or down with palms up, not straight down by their side. I'm going to say maybe 2 feet from their side on each side. And their legs are just dangling. They're not standing. They're levitating. And who was it I did first? I cannot remember who I did first. That's really odd. But I did them. And then I thought of my protectors, and I felt they deserved this healing. And so I pulled their soul to me. And, oh, it was my guides that I'd done first. Or was it second? I don't remember. But anyway, neither here nor there. I pulled my protectors. I felt a reluctancy, a hesitation. I'm not sure what that feeling was. But I don't think I finished their healing. It was one group or the other. I didn't finish because my right leg, the most recent one had surgery on the hip, started aching. Although I had it propped on a pillow because I cannot relax it all the way. And then it started healing. I straightened it out on the bed and continued to meditate. It might have been my left hip. I don't know. I think I did something for the first time to both groups. And that was, of course, they were levitating upright. And then, oddly, I flipped them horizontally somehow. And I got all around them. And I remember thinking, oh, this is different. I'm trying to remember still which group I did first, but it doesn't matter. And so I was doing them. I started realizing that I've been meditating for a while. In my head, I was thinking it has to be about an hour. And I felt so good after doing this. But the whole time I was doing it also, I have to add this. I felt energy being sprinkled on top of my head. And it would go down and down. And I would say internally, of course, I accept this positive energy. And throughout the whole meditation, I would feel that randomly. And I remembered I used to feel that before when I meditated all the time. I was going to say I wasn't listening to music, but I was. And that helps me. And I kept a clear mind for a good long time. And I struggle with that. Because every time I start over with my meditations, I struggle to keep a clear mind. when I first started, and it was during my awakening, I think, when I started realizing who I was, and oh my gosh. And so I started meditating, and it was very hard to keep a clear mind. And then when I would stop again, I had to start over. I struggled, but not last night. Last night is the first time I meditated in a while. But anyway, I had in my mind that I hope when I open my eyes, the protectors will be here, the shapes will be here. And then I was like, and how interesting would that be to just open my eyes wide awake and seeing all this? I did not take my sleeping pills until I realized they weren't coming. I got really sad. I got very sad. It is the hero effect they had on me. And it's the same reason why women are so into police, firemen, ambulance guys, military men. It is that hero effect. And us women tend to cling on to it. I used to feel that way, but the older I got, I just like, they're just cops. They're just people like us. And there's some bad ones out there. I had my back pillow with the arms on it that I was using on the bed to hold myself up because of my hips. And I tried to stay as straight as I could. But when I opened my eyes, there was nothing here, and the room was clear. And whenever I have a visit of any sort, the room is slightly foggy. Sometimes the shapes are clear. And I kept looking up at the vent. There was no shapes around the vent. I got really, really sad. I felt like a kid that got abandoned. Selfish of me, yes, I won't deny that. But I got really sad. And I played my game, the tile game. I can't never pronounce it correctly. And I was sad and angry. Then I started thinking about my future. And I was like, I need to keep my mind busy because I'm going to torment myself thinking about this, about them not coming again. And so I was playing this game. I took my pills after meditation. And it might have been a while after meditation. And I just realized they weren't coming. So I took my pills and doing this game, and I put the pillow that I was leaned against back in my computer chair because I don't want it on the floor. And then I lay down and I continued playing the tile game. I was thinking that once my YouTube takes off, I'm going to travel. Of course, I've always thought that, but I was thinking this, that I'm going to travel and I'm going to stay so busy because this hurt me tremendously. I cannot describe it. I think that I clung on to them being my protectors because I've never had any. I think that's the main point in this conversation. I wasn't angry. I was just really sad. It was a horrible sad. And I kept trying to talk to myself and say, I was saying, at least you had this experience. At least you know that they're there. So anyway, at some point, I barely remember this part, black geometric shapes started coming. And then they stopped and withdrew. And I'm like, what is that about? And then they started flowing again. And there's bits and pieces that I remember. I don't know if it was them having me not remember specific things. I'm not sure. Or if it was my pills. But I want to say I touched the shapes like I usually do. I held my arm up. I put my fingertips through it. And I seen where my fingers were tearing it. So I pulled my hand back. And they always mend back together. I want to say before I continue that I got up this morning and all this thinking was coming through my head. Although emotionally, I felt a little better for some reason. And then I regretted feeling better. But I had it in a condition, oh my gosh. I headed in the kitchen to start my breakfast and get myself a drink. And then I had flash. And you know how I tell you I'll scan and get these little clips, little snippets of what I seen, and the whole thing comes? Well, that's what was happening. I was getting all these, and I got stressed. And I'm like, was that from last night? Oh my God, was that from last night? And then surely it wasn't the night before, because I don't remember that. It had to have been last night. And then one image popped in my head, and I started crying because that was a verification that it was last night. So I cried and thanked them. But here's what happened. So I'm envisioning this. I love this. I had many protectors coming in, and I seen their eyes. All of them. Well, I think all of them. There were many of them. I seen a woman, and it verified. I seen her 3 times already. But that's just a verification that my intuition is always correct. Well, not always, but mostly. Because I knew there was a woman in here before I even seen her eyes. I tried to be quiet, just in case they knew the bed thumper was coming. And they came in a hurry. But it was like they made themselves be known to me. Because they were rapidly coming over my head. And it was like they were coming and veering off. And I'm sitting there and I'm kind of waving at some, and I'm saying to myself, oh my God, should I be waving? You know, is there somebody in here? I cannot remember what happened next. I want to say I was looking at other entities, like they were gearing up or something. I don't know, because they were doing something with their face. Oh, and they had their helmets on, which are real snug. But all I saw were their eyes. Like, it was like everything else is blacked out, and I can understand. And then, like, this morning, I was thinking, again, are all of them human? Because they look so human. And I'm sitting there, you know, battling that in my head for some reason. And then that's when the image came in my head. And last night, when I was scanning the room, I looked to my left. There was an alien. There was an ET, and his head, I'm trying to be accurate. I want to say, oh my gosh, maybe like walnut shaped? Or was it like a walnut smashed a little? What? I can't think of something that resembles that shape. But then it had slits for eyes, and they were small. And I think I pointed. I do know I gasped, and I was just watching them. And here's what is, I don't know if you would say fascinating. I don't even know the descriptive word for this. But that alien had his weapon. I had to be careful what I was saying. Had his weapon aimed to the ceiling, in which they can see through the ceiling. And he was aggressive, like he was searching for something. I don't know if the other ones were acting that way also, but as I said, they were coming aggressively, fast. I was so focused on that alien with his, well, just being here. It made me so happy. Maybe I knew him also. I'm not sure, but I was happy. I just can't get over that. I'm so happy about it. But he was probably where I am right now, and the head of the bed is that way. And he was just, you know, at it, and then he leaves here, goes toward that wall. And then I want to say he came back. It was like he was going all in the room, like he was searching for something. And I'm like, I was thinking, is this it? Was that, let me see if I can get this right. trying to get my cognitive impairment in line here. I look back now. I think it was yesterday that I said this, that this is a channeled mess. I'm saying now that it could be a channeled message. But when I said, I don't remember my exact words, but more or less, shit is going to hit the fan. And I'm wondering if it's getting to that point. Because something is happening. If the thumper's not back, who are they looking for? I actually love my life now. I actually believe that me being in this current standing, I am now doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Why would I be target to more than one person? Entity, I should say. Do you remember when I talked about that claw scraping down the geometric shapes and I heard it? And it was like, kind of. It had a claw that was bigger than human size, but it resembled like an eagle claw or a owl. You know those claws that are out of the fingers? And just, these were huge. And I'm talking, his hand was probably about that big with claws. He didn't have that many fingers, of course, because it was one hand. Something deep inside of me honestly feels that was a reptilian. And I do believe that was a warning also. Or he was just trying to scare me. When I first seen it, when I was looking for what I was hearing and I seen it, I want to say I was more startled than I had fear because I wasn't prepared for what I just seen. But it had to have been a reptilian. It had to have been. Don't know of any other ETs that have hands like that. But I didn't see anything else except the claw. I was focused on that claw. So there was the bed thumper, the claw, and then something going on last night. I don't think the bed thumper will come back. And I will say again, because I noticed I have 2 more new subscribers, that the bed thumper is a soul, a human soul, or at least I think he's human, that was tormenting me. He was very aggressive. Speaking of that, when I started my meditation last night, I got really freaked out and I was asking for my protectors and asking and, please come and help me. But I remembered in the past when I would meditate on the bed, I would feel a give, kind of like a small child was crawling on the bed. Last night, I felt what the bed thumper would do. It was like this. And I opened my eyes thinking the bed thumper was there. And I didn't see anything. And I scanned the whole room. And that soon, and I'm talking about as soon as I closed my eyes, immediately, it started again. And it kept doing that. And I know I kept opening my eyes a good at least 10 times. And I'm sitting there thinking, it felt like it was moving. It felt like it started at the foot of the bed and was coming around like the bed thumper would do. And then so I said, I'm just going to protect myself. I didn't even think about it before. So I swirled myself. It was beautiful. It looked like white lightning circling an egg. And there was a white light in there also. So it was all white. And then I got the bed moving stopped. And actually, I felt it right in front of me at one point. But when I protected myself, it stopped. And then, I don't remember if this had been before. Then I filled the whole bedroom with that same light. It was like wind and white, electricity with white light going in every aspect of this room. I should have said some wordage through there, as in, no negativity, no negative entities are allowed to come into my room. And all who enter my room that are positive are protected. I should have said something like that. I was a witch in another life, and I was told in this life I have the seed. Although I don't practice any of it, I do know that wordage helps. And I try to do that when I remember. I need to remember more. In the kitchen, at some point last night, after I was seeing all this and was watching the alien go everywhere, I conked out. I don't know if they put me to sleep or if my pills finally just kicked in. But I was in the kitchen and I was remembering all of this, and I'm just scanning until I saw the ET, and oh my God, I started crying. And I thanked them for coming last night. I thanked them for protecting me, and I apologized because I was being selfish, wanting them to stick around. And in a roundabout way, just thinking about myself in the situation. But I told them, yeah, and I'm so grateful that you're there. Something tells me, even though I don't see them, they're always around me. I would rather see them because it's so interesting. And I want to say, and I don't remember because of my cognitive impairment, if I said at another point where my protectors were here, I want to say there was another alien. I'm not 100% sure. And last night, I want to say I seen more than one. But I don't remember. I can't say that for sure. But my mood has changed. I feel strengthened, oddly. And I also want to say that I think it's two. I got 2 negative comments on the last video. I've left them there because they're not that bad. But it was just a couple people just trying to poke at me and more or less say in a roundabout way that I'm crazy. And that is okay because I know my truth and I know who I am. I know what I go through. And nobody knows that. 100% sure knows that of what I go through and who I am. But as long as I know, that's all that matters. I know who I am. 100%. And it makes me happy. I'm at a happy place in my life. Other than that, nothing new is going on. I went to the park yesterday and I sat and just was in my own world. And I think I was thinking of things. I also want to say, since the bed thumper, I've been hearing really weird noises in my room. Also, in the other rooms I go into, it's like something's trying to say, I'm here. But I'm confused about that because this house creaks and pops often, very often. So it's hard to say that for sure. So tonight, I'm not going to take my sleeping pills again. I will probably kind of force myself to stay up without them until I know it's getting late and I need to take them, and I will. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this here. I love you guys tremendously, and I'm going to send you love, light, and peace. Bye.